The Kaimanawa Wall, shrouded in controversy, hidden in a forest. A focus point for conspiracy theorists. Let's go take a look and give you some information so you can decipher yourselves what it is. Situated in Aotearoa, New Zealand, in the North Island east of Lake Taupo. Off the main road and onto a gravel road, you'll find yourself driving through a beautiful native forest on a smooth gravel road.
The forest itself is absolutely stunning.
The wall is situated right next to the road, but if you blink, you'll miss it.
Should be somewhere right here. Oh, we found it. Haha. We've just arrived at the wall, and one of the most exciting parts about it is this line here. It's so straight, and it runs maybe, well, it looks like 10 to 12 meters across.
Each rock is made of rhyolitic ignimbrite, each weighing approximately 2 to 3 tons. This kind of rock is a volcanic rock and is most likely from the giant Taupo eruption of 232 AD.
It's extremely impressive how just sort of long and flat this is, and how it just strikingly looks at you like, yep, this could be straight out of Egypt.
And yes, they are real solid, and you wouldn't be able to move them.
There's the main hero area, but if we go over here to the left, it continues on, and we can see that this line here, it continues all the way into that section. Now, this area is definitely got some of the cuts and stuff in it, or splits.
Many people have been digging around the rocks. What are they looking for? More rocks. They want to see if they keep going. Where does it end? What is it?
We see another split here over here on the left. But this whole area is not flat like the wall over there.
Perched directly above the wall is this native tree. Reaching out to botanists, I had mixed results. Silver or red beech tree, totara, rimu, matai. If we can't identify the tree, how are we going to identify the rocks?
Now let's walk up around the top here. So it's actually quite high up from the road. Again, we've got another giant rock here with another flat surface on it again.
The unidentified tree rises high above, approximately 20 meters, and its roots are engraved into the wall.
Now the other thing that people have noticed is this kind of little angle here off vertical. It's probably 30 degrees off vertical. Also apparent over here a little bit and here, because this stone here has sort of shifted to the side a little bit. And it even has a kind of diagonal top to it, but looking in here, you can see another flat surface at the back there. Okay, so let's have a look at that. Because you can walk around the side and look in from the back here. And yet, what do we see? Another flat surface. Perfectly flat. Now it's actually come apart there. You can see that little bit. But in here, this is the exciting part. Look, there's this another flat rock and another square edge there from this one that goes back further. So that's very interesting.
Is this just a normal rock being split up conveniently like a diced potato?
Now, there are many theories on how this got here. The first is what the New Zealand government claims is that this is a natural phenomenon where these rocks have been here for 330,000 years and have actually split over time. There was a massive earthquake back in the day that most probably did this big split here. Some people believe that this was actually man-made, or perhaps made by something else.
Ever since historian Barry Brailsford told everyone that the wall was pre-Māori and part of an ancient civilization, there was a frenzy of people to come and have a look at it. Geologists said that it wasn't pre-Māori and it was a natural phenomenon. From them we had people digging and also some ground-penetrating radar. This has spawned a huge public interest, and there are many wild and amazing theories of what the Kaimanawa Wall was and who built it. Let's do some of our own research and see what we can come up with.
Right. All right, now for the first time ever, we're going to have a look at photogrammetry of the Kaimanawa Wall. So we're going to look at it in 3D, and that'll give us a better idea of what could be behind the wall. It's fascinating to see it from this angle. You can really get a scale of the size. Now, just through this little gap here is where we actually saw that other corner of another rock, which would be essentially right here. And that would be another block because it had that square edge. We don't know how big it is. We don't know how far back it goes. But it has that same similar square edge as the others do. Well, I've compiled together all the facts. First, we're going to look at evidence of a natural phenomena. All the scientists that have looked at it agree that the wall's appearance is due to natural geological processes. The Kaimanawa Wall is claimed to be made from ignimbrite, a volcanic rock formed 330,000 years ago. It's from compressed pumice and debris after an eruption. Now, the next one is probably the most convincing for me that it's just a rock. It's that there are no other artifacts or ruins or anything else in New Zealand, really, that's suggesting an advanced pre-Māori civilization, where there's a few rocks scattered around and a few stories floating around about the Celtic redheads, but there is no, as of yet, I haven't discovered any hard evidence. If a civilization was advanced enough to be able to put those blocks there, then that would be a very large civilization and would see other remnants. The Mayan temples were completely barren. You couldn't find them very easily, and basically they had to excavate them out of the forest. Not all of them, but yeah, some of them. So, you could look at it like that. Yes, there's actually these ruins underneath the ground, and you're going to have to excavate to find them. And it's still very possible, but it just seems a little bit unlikely that a civilization this advanced that would be able to move these kind of stones left absolutely nothing else. And after all this time, we haven't found anything. There is the other hypothetical chance is that earthquakes, volcanoes, whatever has buried that civilization, or they're underwater, or they're just not visible to the eye. Natural fractures. As ignimbrite cools, it is known to fracture that create block-like shapes, okay? Giving the brick-like appearance. That's a known thing. We've seen all around the world that rocks can crack in amazing shapes. And here's another big bit of evidence saying that, yep, this is natural. Neville Ritchie's study found that the blocks had micro irregularities along the joints that are matched. If you told a whole bunch of people, yep, we need to make these blocks and we're going to make a wall, everyone's making these blocks, and then you put them all together, you would look at the textures in the rocks and you would see different little patterns. And if you put two next to each other, they would have different little textures in them. Now, this is the big kicker. These rocks have the same textures that run through each from one rock to another. So that really in itself kind of goes, yep, they've been split, not been cut separately and then put together like bricks. So that's another huge bit of evidence saying, hey, this is just a natural phenomenon. Now, there's only just been one study on that, Neville Ritchie. I like to know a little bit more about that.
The rock composition analysis confirmed the rock as rhyolite or rhyolite ignimbrite, a hard volcano stone and not sedimentary rock associated with human construction. It's just an unusual rock to be sculpting with, so not traditionally used. Now, some dudes got some ground penetrating radar. They were there. They did one scan along the front of the wall and they did one up the hill. The one up the hill, they said, had found no pyramid and no chambers. Okay, so there's nothing unusual going on up there. The one in front of the wall, they did find some more rocks, and on their analysis, you can see a lump and then a higher lump and then a lower lump and then a higher lump. Whether you call this a regular pattern or not, they called it a regular pattern. So there's different rocks underneath at some at different levels. And that's all we have with ground penetrating radar. The natural orientation, well, it's pointing north, and that's, all these other ancient ruins around the world are pointing north, and this is a sign. Unfortunately, it's not exactly on north, it's a little bit off, so it's sort of 5-8 degrees off. That whole thing is a bit, I'm not sure. Now, for all the pseudoscience, the conspiracy theorist people, we're going to look at the things suggesting that this was a engineered formation. And I'm only looking at the hard facts, I'm not looking at crazy theories, okay? And everything as well is just happily to be discussed in the comments with good consideration, okay? So if you've got a wild idea, you can put it out there, but I'm interested in putting the facts together and then going from there, okay? Geometric appearance. Well, yes, this is probably the main thing going for it, is when you look at it, it looks like a regular pattern, human-made structure with many similar looking walls all around the world, ancient ruins from ancient civilizations in South America, Asia, Europe, even Africa, and of course the Middle East. So it looks like something man-made. The blocks appear pretty straight, pretty flat, which is a very humanistic kind of thing to do. That's another thing is saying, yep. When the guys dug down, they found another flat rock. So here's the wall. If you go straight down, they found another flat rock deeper down, and that main flat wall rock there kept going quite far, and they found another flat one at the bottom, and it was, another flat rock. And the other compelling thing is that it's man-made, is that there's nothing else kind of like it around in the whole area. But there is actually. So 50 meters nearby, there is more rock. It doesn't have the exact kind of real square kind of cuts like we saw on the Kaimanawa Wall. It's only literally 50, 100 meters nearby, a similar rock, and it's unusual looking as well. But yes, in the whole area and the scheme of things, no, we don't really see the rocks around like this. So it is an unusual thing right there. There's a lot of talk from different people about, this is an ancient thing, and the Māori knew about it, or the Māori didn't know about it. This person claimed it. I haven't really come across any conclusive kind of consistent story about that, so we're not going to put that in as of yet, but welcome to discuss in the comments. Now, DOC, the Department of Conservation, have put a 75-year ban on any excavation of this. Some people believe that they were like, nah, we don't want to do that, because if it was true, this was an ancient civilization, then that would predate Māori, and that wouldn't go down too well with the Māori, them as the First Nation people, which is quite a powerful political thing. I personally think DOC are pretty much, they just don't want the place disturbed so much. Like if there's people in there with trucks and stuff excavating without any iwi or DOC permission, that could create a lot of problems, and I think that had been happening quite a bit. So I think their decision to do that was, I don't think it was political. It could be, but yeah, they are quite careful with keeping things very natural. So that's all the stuff I had found from my research. Welcome to put more in the comments. I'm not hating on the conspiracy, I'm just looking at the facts. The structure is a beautiful thing anyway.
Regardless of how it was formed, I recommend coming out and just having a look at it. It's simply beautiful.
Yeah, I've got more stuff that we're having a look at. I wouldn't mind doing a part 2 of this if anyone wants to come with me, and we'll talk a bit more about it. And thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel.